For 3 days, my 10-year-old daughter, Lily, did not answer a single one of my calls, and at first I tried to convince myself that there had to be a reasonable explanation. Her mother, Claire, and I had been divorced for nearly 2 years, and although our relationship was far from perfect, we had agreed that Lily would always be allowed to call either of us whenever she wanted. I usually spoke to my daughter every evening at 7. It had become our little ritual. She would tell me about school, complain about homework, describe whatever strange thing her best friend had done that day, and then ask me to tell her a story before she went to sleep. But that Monday night she didn't answer. I called again. Nothing. I sent a message. "Hey, Princess, Dad's waiting for your bedtime call." No response. I assumed she had fallen asleep. Tuesday came, and I called before school, after school, and again at 7. Every call went unanswered. I contacted Claire, asking if Lily was okay, but her response was strangely short. "She's fine. Stop worrying." Something about those words made me more worried, not less. Lily was never simply fine when she disappeared from her normal routine. On Wednesday morning I called again. The phone rang several times before going straight to voicemail. I sent another message, and this time it showed as delivered but unread. I stared at my phone for almost an hour. Then I called Claire again. She didn't answer. That was when the fear inside me became impossible to ignore. I left work, got into my car, and drove the 40 minutes to Claire's house. I remember every detail of that drive, the gray clouds hanging over the road, the rain tapping against the windshield, and the terrible thought repeating in my mind, "Something is wrong with my daughter." When I arrived, Claire's car was in the driveway, but she didn't answer the front door. I knocked several times. Finally, she appeared behind the glass. Her face looked pale. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "Where's Lily?" I demanded. Claire hesitated. "She's in her room. I want to see her. She's sleeping. It's almost noon." Her expression changed, and for a moment I saw something that frightened me more than anger would have. Guilt. I pushed past her and ran upstairs, but Lily wasn't in her bedroom. Her bed was neatly made. Her backpack wasn't there. Her favorite stuffed rabbit was missing too. "Where is she?" I shouted. Claire grabbed my arm. "You need to calm down. Where is my daughter?" I pulled away. She finally whispered, "She's outside." I rushed through the back door. At first, all I saw was the garden, wet grass, a wooden shed, and the old swing Lily used to play on. Then I heard something. A faint metallic sound. I turned toward the far corner of the yard, behind a row of tall bushes, and my heart nearly stopped. There was a large metal cage sitting beneath a weathered tarp. Inside it was Lily. My 10-year-old daughter was curled against the cold metal floor, wearing the same pink sweatshirt I had seen her wearing 3 days earlier. Her hair was messy, her face was pale, and her eyes looked enormous with fear. For several seconds I couldn't move. Then I heard her voice. "Daddy?" I ran toward her. "Lily!" She jumped to her feet and rushed to the bars. "Daddy, please get me out!" I dropped to my knees and grabbed the cage. "Who did this to you?" I asked, struggling to keep my voice steady. "Mommy said I had to stay here," she whispered. I looked at Claire, who had followed me outside. "What is this?" I demanded. "You locked our daughter in a cage?" Claire began crying. "It's not what you think. She's been here for 3 days. She was dangerous," Claire shouted. I stared at her in disbelief. "She's 10 years old." Lily pressed herself against the bars. "Daddy, I didn't do anything." I immediately took off my jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders through the opening. I know, sweetheart. I know. Then I examined the lock. It was a heavy padlock attached to the cage door. Give me the key. Claire said nothing. Give me the key, I shouted. She finally reached into her pocket and pulled it out. My hand shook as I unlocked the cage. The moment the door opened, Lily ran into my arms and buried her face against my chest. She was trembling so badly that I could feel every shiver. I'm sorry, Daddy, she whispered. I tried to call you. I held her tighter. Why are you apologizing? Mommy took my phone. I looked at Claire. Why? Claire wiped her face. Because she wouldn't tell me the truth. What truth? Claire looked away. Lily suddenly whispered, Daddy, I saw something. I crouched beside her. What did you see? She looked toward the house. Mommy's boyfriend, Mark. He came into the house late at night. He was carrying a black bag. He told Mommy I couldn't tell anyone. A cold feeling spread through me. What was in the bag? Lily shook her head. I don't know. But I heard them arguing. Mark said he needed the papers. Mommy said she didn't have them. I looked at Claire. Her face had gone completely white. Claire, what papers? She started crying. I didn't know what to do. You locked our daughter outside because she saw something? I was scared. Claire shouted. Mark threatened me. He said if Lily told you, something terrible would happen. Lily grabbed my hand. Daddy, he said you were going to lose everything. I looked at Claire with disbelief. So instead of protecting her, you locked her in a cage? I thought it would keep her safe, she sobbed. She couldn't leave. She couldn't call anyone. I thought if Mark came back, he wouldn't find her inside. You didn't protect her, I said quietly. You imprisoned her. Before Claire could answer, we heard the sound of a car engine outside the front gate. Lily immediately froze. That's him, she whispered. A dark sedan rolled slowly toward the house. Claire grabbed my arm. You need to leave. I pulled Lily behind me. Not without her. The car stopped. Mark stepped out. He was a tall man in his 40s, wearing a dark coat. He looked toward the backyard and stopped when he saw the open cage. His expression changed instantly. You weren't supposed to open that, he said. Something inside me snapped. Stay away from my daughter. Mark walked closer. This isn't your business. She's my daughter. Everything involving her is my business. Mark's eyes narrowed. You don't understand what you've walked into. Then explain it. He said nothing. Claire began shaking. Mark, just leave. He turned toward her angrily. You told me she wouldn't be able to talk. Lily squeezed my hand. I pulled out my phone and quietly started recording. What did you do? I asked. Mark looked at the cage and then at Lily. She saw something she shouldn't have. What? He hesitated. Then he said, The documents. Claire interrupted. Stop talking. Mark ignored her. Your ex-wife was helping me move money from an account connected to your old company. My blood ran cold. My company? I had left my former business after the divorce, believing my financial problems were caused by a failed investment. But suddenly pieces began falling into place. You stole from me? I asked Claire. She started crying. I didn't mean for it to happen. Mark laughed bitterly. She signed the documents. And Lily saw you? I asked. Mark's silence was enough. I moved Lily behind me. You're going to prison. Mark stepped forward, but before he could reach us, Sirens sounded in the distance. He stopped. I had secretly sent an emergency message to the police while we were arguing. Officers entered the backyard moments later. Mark tried to run, but they caught him near the gate. Claire collapsed onto the wet grass. Lily held onto my jacket as the officers secured the scene. Later that evening, after everything had been explained, Lily sat beside me in the back of the ambulance, while a paramedic checked her for injuries. She kept asking whether I was angry with her. I told her the truth. I'm not angry at you. I'm proud of you. But I was scared. Being scared doesn't mean you're weak. It means you knew something was wrong. She leaned against me. I called you every night. My eyes filled with tears. I know, sweetheart. I thought you stopped loving me because you didn't come. I hugged her tightly. Never. Not for 1 second. That sentence broke something inside me. For 3 days, my little girl had been sitting inside a metal cage believing her father might have forgotten her. I would carry the guilt of those 3 days for the rest of my life, even though I had never known where she was. The investigation eventually uncovered the full truth. Mark had been stealing money through several fake accounts, and Claire had signed documents she didn't fully understand after he threatened her with financial ruin. Lily had accidentally witnessed an argument between them and later saw Mark hide evidence in the shed. When she threatened to tell me, Mark frightened Claire into keeping Lily isolated. Claire believed the cage would prevent Lily from leaving the property and accidentally exposing the secret, but instead she had turned a terrified child into a prisoner. Months later, Claire faced legal consequences for what she had done, while Mark received even more serious charges. Lily came to live with me permanently. I repaired her old bedroom exactly the way she wanted it, with purple walls, glowing stars on the ceiling, and a giant bookshelf beside her bed. On the first night she slept there, she asked me to leave the hallway light on. I did. Then she asked me to stay until she fell asleep. I sat beside her for almost an hour. Just before she closed her eyes, she whispered, "Daddy?" "Yes?" "If I call you tomorrow, will you answer?" My heart broke. I kissed her forehead. "Every single time." She smiled. "Even if you're busy?" "Especially if I'm busy." She closed her eyes, finally feeling safe. I sat there listening to her breathing and thought about how easily a child's silence can hide a world of fear. Those 3 days changed everything. They taught me that love isn't just saying you care about someone. Sometimes love means showing up, asking difficult questions, refusing to accept easy answers, and standing between your child and anything that threatens them. I had driven to that house expecting to find a daughter who was simply ignoring my calls. Instead, I found her behind metal bars, waiting for the one person she believed would come for her. And I made myself a promise that day: as long as I was alive, Lily would never again have to wonder whether her father would come when she called.